Right, let's continue with this same example now. And I modify this code now so that I can recover from different kinds of exceptions. Namely, in a try-catch structure, it's possible to have more than one catch block so that the recovery will be different depending on what kind of an exception there happened. Namely, you probably remember when I run this code without the try-catch, and I experienced this exception with the x divided by y. So there was an exception message that arrived here, and it told exactly what kind of a exception is there was. And actually, you can see the remaining here. So actually, here, if I bring this text here, so I really caught this system divide by a zero exception at that time. And what I can do with those, I can specify for the catch block what kind of an error I'm handling here, or exception. So I put here a parameter for the catch block, which specifies now that this catch block here is specialized for divide by zero exceptions only. So it will only deal with those. And when I do that, what I get as a bonus is I get the parameter which contains some information about the exception. So sometimes get some very valuable information from that. For example, if I want to write it into a log, so from log I can see what different kinds of exceptions has happened in the past, and then find out how to improve or make my program better. But I can also use that a parameter. Sometimes I can even show it on the screen, but that should in regularly not to be done. So this is something that actually should not be shown to the regular user, only to administrator or programmer or so. But I just show how you can get an access to that information is that you will take the parameter and then filter out the message part of that parameter data. So where does this parameter come from? So it comes from when the error happens, the message is being created, and then it's packed into this parameter, which is sent together with that exception message, and this is how we can get an access to it. Okay, but what if there could be some different kinds of exceptions here? I will do so that I move this try block starting from here instead. Okay, so now what could go wrong here is that what if the user enters here from the keyboard something which is not convertible to integer numbers? So then there is different kind of an error. And actually, what is the error type then? It is something else, and I will just put it like this. I create here a general exception handler which will take care of all the other exceptions than divide by zero exception. And I put here the same thing. I write the same information, but this way I will get okay, some other kind of message from the exception. And let's just now experiment with both these. So first I create an exception which creates the divided by zero, and then something with the general one. Just put here for the reference this one. Okay, now try it. And first try to generate the divide by zero. So okay, this message come from my own output in that catch block, and the next one, the message, this part here caused this row here. Right, so what we get from the EX parameter of the catch block is this part of the text. So there's attempted to divide by 0. There's clear text what come from the exception. Right? So now I continue. Notify the program is still running, is letting me to recover. So I give some other numbers. So what if I now write here some letters instead of numbers, and pressing enter caused an exception because the letters YT, they were not able to convert into integer number. So this message come from the catch block again here, and this message comes from the EX parameter. So it's the message. And what is the message about? Is about input string was not in a correct format. Right. And actually this error here is type of, I think it's type of format exception. Okay, I'm not able to do it now. So I could specialize my catch block, second catch block for format exceptions. So I believe that's the type, so I can just verify it. So if I give here something in different format, so no, this is giving this same error message. Right. And basically I could have here still one more. I could have the general one, so the general catch block, which would recover from any other kind of exceptions than format and divide by 0. So if that, I don't know what it could be in this case, but in theory there could happen something weird during the runtime, and then I could have that one here as well. Of course, now there's no parameter EX anymore, so this code line is not valid. But I can also catch the general exception with the parameter by using the general exception type like this. So then of course again I can have this, I can refer to the parameter and its information. Right, so this is the way how you can recover from many different kinds of exceptions in a different way. So it might be that I would like to, for example, here tell to the user that don't use 0 as the second parameter, and here I could remind the user that okay, the input values, they should be always integer type.